मैंने ये लो रिमोट
रात में एक्चुअली डिनर वगैरह हो गया है,
फ्रेश
डिनर वगैरह सब हो गया है।
कठपुतली
ये रखा हुआ था,
कठपुतली
मैं स्टोरी बुक पढ़ने जा रही थी, वही खा रही बैठी हूँ। परसों मैं लाइव नहीं आ पाई थी, सो सॉरी। आज लेट हो गया। I was really having a bad day, so बस फिर मैं लाइव आती हूँ। ज़्यादा ही होगा उस दिन।
This ball doesn't move like a normal ball should. And today, I'm testing this myth out, as well as the greatest conspiracies
तारक
from
मेहता
across
लगा
the
दूँ।
football world. Has the beautiful game been built on a foundation of secrets? I'm going to find out. First up is Lionel Messi's
Watch something
lace
good,
gun.
Abhi.
Apparently, Lionel Messi uses fire to burn the ends of his laces to make them super short, making sure nothing gets in the way of his ability on the ball. So after cutting the laces and copying Messi's
पहले
method,
पेट पूजा, फिर काम दूजा।
मैसे
बट जो बुक आज मैं पढ़ने जा रही हूँ, दैट्स वेरी वेरी वेरी
माँ आपने
इंटरेस्टिंग।
मैसी को देखा है
उठा के रख दो।
मुझे भी खाने का मन है
हम्म,
बचा है
हम्म,
देखो बचा है थोड़ा थोड़ा
यही है।
एक पीस बचा है ये खिला दो
एंड में टेस्टी लगती है वो। So the storybook I'm going to read today after finishing this is just so interesting. आप में से बहुत लोग मैं थोड़ा हैंड वॉश कर लूँ, यहीं पे मेरे पास वाटर बॉटल है। सो व्हाट आई विल डू इज हाथ धो लूँगी पानी से, दिखाऊंगी। पटेल दीप दिस व्हाट दिस। मैं 1 मिनट ऑटो ट्रांसलेशन ऑफ कर दूँ क्योंकि वो फिर ऑटो ट्रांसलेट कर देता है एंड कुछ भी ट्रांसलेट करता है। सो ये मैंने पानी से हाथ धो लिया है एंड I'll just wipe off with my hanky. Keep it. थाली नीचे रख देते हैं, मुंह पोंछ लेते हैं साफ सुथरे हाथ के साथ, क्योंकि जो मेरी बुक है वो ऐसी है कि हाथ मुंह धो के ही पढ़ो, ये मेरा मानना है। So the book I will be reading today is this, Miracle of Love. एंड इनको तो सभी जानते होंगे, ऑलमोस्ट सभी जानते होंगे। दिस ही इज़ नीम करौली, जिनका टेम्पल भी है उत्तराखंड में। एंड मैं इन पे बहुत विश्वास करती हूँ क्योंकि आज से 7 साल पहले आई वेंट देयर एंड टच वुड बहुत सच है। आप यहाँ जाइए, आप सच्चे मन से अपनी विशेष मांगिए, सच्चे मन से, माइंड इट। सच्चा मन होना चाहिए, पवित्र मन होना चाहिए, कुछ नेगेटिव नहीं होना चाहिए। एंड आप सच्चे मन से मांग के देखिए, ज़रूर फुलफिल होगी। सो मैं इन्हें बहुत मानती हूँ और ये बुक मैंने वहीं से ली थी। दिस बुक इज़ 7 years ओल्ड बुक। आई बॉट इट फ्रॉम देयर। वहाँ पे आश्रम भी है उनका, और ये सब उस टाइम पे तो मिलता था। अब मैं 7 साल पहले गई थी तो मुझे अब तो, हेलो, आप गए थे ना इस साल नीम करौली, ये हमने बुक ली थी वहाँ पे, अभी भी मिलती है ये सब, अभी भी बुक्स वगैरह मिलती हैं। थोड़ा चेंज हो गया ना टेम्पल अभी। हाँ, तो ये बुक मेरी 7 साल पुरानी है एंड मैं इन पे बहुत मानती हूँ। आप लोग भी एक बार ज़रूर टेम्पल विजिट करिए। एंड गए ही होंगे ऑलमोस्ट ज़्यादातर लोग। पीछे से ये थोड़ा स्क्रेप हो गया है सो सॉरी फॉर दैट। सो आई बी रीडिंग दिस टुडे नाउ। ये देखिए, इसमें ना नीम करौली बाबा की कुछ ओरिजिनल पटेल दीप, ये बुक बदल दी है। अच्छा, वही मैं बोल रही, ये 7 साल पुरानी है एंड मैं 7 साल से टेम्पल मुझे जाने का मौका नहीं मिल पाया। आई होप मैं जा पाऊँ एज सून एज पॉसिबल बिकॉज एंड एक और मंदिर है उत्तराखंड में, गोलू महाराज जी का। दैट इज़ ऑल्सो, मतलब वहाँ पे अपनी विशेज़ आप लेटर में लिख के टांगते हैं। बहुत सच होता है, बहुत सच होता है, बट सच्चे मन से होना चाहिए। सो ये उनकी ओरिजिनल फ़ोटो है, इसमें बनी हुई है। नीम करौली बाबा की ओरिजिनल फ़ोटो बनी हुई है इसमें।
हैप्पी बर्थडे।
मेरे पास भी है। ओ ग्रेट, सो 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 आई मीन आप भी बहुत मानते हैं इसका मतलब। एंड वन मोर पिक्चर इज देयर। एंड उस टेम्पल में जाते ही वाइब भी अलग है। आई एम श्योर आप टेम्पल भी गए ही होंगे, तो वाइब ही अलग है भाई। और प्रसाद चने का जो मिलता है, एक नंबर। उफ, मुझे चने ऑनेस्टली पसंद नहीं थे कभी, दैट टू बॉइल्ड चना। बट जब मैंने वहाँ खाया फर्स्ट टाइम प्रसाद में, तब से मुझे चने पसंद आने लगे। क्या ही स्वाद। अब बुक चेंज हो गई है। गॉट इट बुक चेंज हो गई है। कैसी है मतलब आपने पढ़ी तो होगी। और ये कुछ और पिक्चर्स हैं उनकी, सम फॉरेनर्स विद सम फॉरेनर्स जो कि बहुत मानते थे नीम करौली बाबा पे। ये इसमें नीम करौली बाबा है क्या? नहीं नहीं, ये उनके भक्त हैं, इसमें बाबा जी नहीं। हाँ, ये फ़ोटो ले रखी है किसी ने, ये फ़ोटो ले रखी है उनकी। एंड इनके भक्त तो देश विदेश सब जगह हैं भाई। ये फर्स्ट चैप्टर में पढ़ूंगी। द बीज कम when the flower blooms the bees come uninvited. Ramakrishna। We came to Mahara। अच्छा ये हाँ, किसने लिखे पहले तो मैं यही देखती हूँ। स्टोरीज अबाउट नीम करौली बाबा compiled by रामदास। ये राम नहीं, you can resume watching. So I'll be reading this, The Bees Come। अभी मैंने पढ़ा था, ये बड़ा अच्छा लगा। The flower blooms, the bees come uninvited. We came to Maharajji's feet, impelled by our yearning for the living spirit and drawn by his light. We came from Europe. Oh, this person came from Europe and Great Britain, the United States and Canada, Australia and South America। बोला ना इनके भक्त, मुझे तो लगता है इनके भक्त विदेश में बहुत सारे हैं, बहुत सारे। बाल बहुत इरिटेट कर रहे हैं। इतने जगह के इनके भक्त आए थे। एज हर्मन प्लीज instead of the yellow traveler in his journey to the east. Each had his or her own special reason for making the journey, but all also shared a common goal. Oh, sorry, each had his own or her special reason for making them, but all shared a common goal. We came with our varying hues of. अच्छा एक क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर ऐड करो आई थॉट आप में से किसी का मैसेज
The
है
bees come.
साइनिसिज्म एंड फेथ हाँ
The bees come.
या द बीज कम यह बुक 3 बार पढ़ी है अमेजिंग आप मुझे इसका अगर आप बताना चाहो तो इसका पूरा क्या कहते हैं जैसे मूवीज़ में क्लाइमैक्स होता है तो इसका पूरा एक लाइन में बता सकते हैं कि हाउ व्हाट काइंड ऑफ बुक दिस इज़ क्योंकि मैं इसे 7 सालों में अब पढ़ने बैठी हूँ क्योंकि ये मुझे मेरे खजाने में से मिली कहीं मैंने एकदम सुरक्षित सेफ रख दी थी एंड वो जगह मैंने सफाई करने टाइम जब मैं अपनी अलमारी बना रही थी तब मुझे मिली तो अब आज मैं पढ़ने बैठी हूँ तो मुझे तो पता नहीं इसमें एग्जैक्टली है क्या open or close heartedness, sensuality or asceticism, intellectual arrogance or humility. To each Maharaji is responded uniquely. Sounded disturbed. To each Maharaji responded uniquely, now fiercely, now tenderly, now thorough, ignoring or sending us away. Now through making much over us. Now, through reading the mind and heart, now through playing dumb, he did what was necessary to quiet the mind and open the heart so that the thirst that had drawn us all to him could be slaked. And पता मेरे को ना बहुत टाइम हो गया लिटरली रीडिंग के हुए लाइटिंग वगैरह ये सब डिस्टर्ब हो रहा है मुझे I was traveling with a young Western fellow in India. We had come to the mountains in a Land Rover. At that time, I had borrowed from a friend. Okay. In order to find this fellow's guru, to get some help with his visa problem, I was in a bad mood. Okay. Having smoked too much. Been in India too long and not particularly wanting to visit a guru anyway. USA में पढ़ते हैं अच्छा USA में ज़्यादातर लोग इन्हें मानते होंगे That's what you want to say? The following is adapted from the book we hear now. We stopped at his temple and he asked where the guru was. The Indians who had gathered around the cart pointed to a nearby hill. In a moment, he was out of the car and running up the hill. They were following him and appeared delighted to be able to see the guru. I got out of the car. Now I was additionally upset because everybody was ignoring me. I ran after them, barefoot, up this rocky path, stumbling all the way. I didn't want to see the guru anyway, and what the hell was this all about? That's जायज़ है क्योंकि फॉरेन में ये सब कल्चर नहीं है ना उसका ये थोड़ा जायज़ भी था मिलने के बाद तो ऑफ कोर्स चेंज हुआ होगा Around the bend of the path, I came to a field overlooking a valley. And in the field, under a tree, sat a man, his 60s or 70s, with a blanket around him. Surrounding him were 8 or 9 Indians. I was aware of the beautiful tableau, the group, the clouds, the green valley, the visual purity of the foothills of the Himalayas. My traveling companion ran to this man and threw himself on the ground, doing Dand Pranam. Okay. He was crying and the man was patting him on the head. The man means Neem Karoli Baba. I was more and more confused. I stood to the side, thinking, I'm not going to touch his feet. I don't have to. I'm not required to do that. Every now and then, this man looked up at me and twinkled a little. His glances just made me more uncomfortable. Then he looked at me and started speaking in Hindi, of which I understood very little. Another man, however, was translating and that was a much needed thing. I heard him ask my friend, "You have a picture of Maharaji?" My friend nodded. "Yes." "Give it to him," said the man in the blanket, pointing at me. That's very nice, I thought, giving me a picture of himself. And I smiled and nodded appreciatively. But I was still not going to touch his feet. Then he said, "You came in a big car?" Yes. I had not wanted to borrow the car in the first place, not wanting the responsibility, so the car was a source of irritation for me. Okay. He looked at me, smiling, and said, "You will give it to me?" I started to say, "What?" But my friend looked up from the ground where he was still lying and said, "Maharaji, if you want it, you can have it, it's yours." And I said, "No. Now, wait a minute. You can't give away David's car like that." The old man was laughing. In fact, everyone was laughing except me. Then he said, "You made much money in America." I reviewed all my years as a professor and smuggler and very proudly said, "Yes." "How much did you make?" "Well," I said at one time, and I sort of upped the figure a bit further to inflate my ego. And ये तो बहुत सारे लोग usually करते हैं. They literally, you know, up their figure of those salary and to look much, you know. So this is a normal human phenomena, I think. Okay. $25,000. You say hi, Brazil, please. Hi, Brazil. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. I'm so sorry for that. Nayani. Nayan. I'm so sorry if I pronounced it wrong. But didn't intend to do that. But I would like to say once again, hi, Brazil. मजा आता है. Dollars. Are you a fan of Neem Karoli Baba? Just let me know if you are. The group converted that into rupees. Of course, we Indians हम हमेशा डॉलर्स को इंडियन करेंसी में कन्वर्ट करके ही बताते हैं चीज़ें to just know the difference. Unfortunately, हमारी करेंसी बहुत weak है, but livelihood in India is very affordable, like very affordable. Touch wood. The group converted into ये तो पढ़ चुके हैं. And everybody was awed. Sorry. And everybody was awed by his figure. All of this was, of course, bragging on my part. I had never made $25,000. And he laughed again and said, "You will buy a car like that for me?" So beta go and eat that aloo ka sabji and roti. I remember what went through my mind at that moment. Although I had come from a family of Jewish fundraisers, I had never seen such hustling as this. He doesn't even know my name and already he wants a $7,000 vehicle, I thought. Well, maybe, I said. The whole thing was by now upsetting me very much. And he said, "Take them away and give them food." And so we were given magnificent food and then we were told to rest. Sometime later, we were back with Maharaji, and he said to me, "Come here, sit." So I sat down facing him, and he looked at me and said, "You were out under the stars last night?" This, of course, was the English translation of what he said. Hmm. You were thinking about your mother? Yes. The previous night, a few hundred miles away, I had gone outside during the night to go to the bathroom. The stars had been very bright, and I had remained outside, feeling very close to the cosmos. At that time, I had suddenly experienced the presence of my mother. And this generally happens when we lose our loved ones. So, in the night when we look up in the sky and stars को जब हम देखते हैं, so we really feel very touched and connected to them. So whatever he felt was right. Huh. So experienced the presence of my mother, who had died 9 months previously of a spleen condition. It was a very powerful moment, and I had told no one about it. She died last year. Mhm. She got very big in the stomach before she died. Oh. Pause, and he says, yes. He leaned back and closed his eyes and said in English, spleen, she died of spleen. What happened to me at that moment, I can't really put into words. He looked at me in a certain way, and two things happened. They do not seem like cause and effect, but rather appeared to be simultaneous. My mind began to race faster and faster to try to get leverage, to get a hold on what he had just done. I went through every super paranoia I would ever had. Who is he? What does he represent? Where's the button of Where's the button he pushes to make the file appear? See, I'm reading something after so long, and Umar Butter read it. I need to. I have first of all. So sorry for the pause, but I'll be reading this. मुझे ठंडी लग रही है, डाली है मैंने. हाँ. Where's the button he pushes to make the file appear? He was so confused कि इन्हें सब पता कहाँ से चल रहा है. How is he able to know what I'm going through and what has happened to me in the past? So yeah, he's asking these questions to himself. Yeah. None of it would gel. Why have they brought me here? It was just too impossible that this could have happened this way. My traveling companion did not know about any of these things. Maharaji was saying.
I would like to share them with
थोड़ा आवाज कम कर लीजिए. And I was a tourist in a. आवाज कम कर लो यार, वो ना दे दे यार प्लीज. ये पेपा पिग है, दे सकता है.
all seasons of Peppa Pig. Look how lazily they make
And I was a tourist in a car. The whole thing was just
the same animal.
inexplicable. My mind went faster and faster. Until then, I had two models for psychic experiences. Isn't it weird? One was, well, it happened to somebody else, and it's very interesting, and we certainly must keep an open mind about these things.
Those could have been sounds.
That was my social science approach. The other one was, well, I'm high on LSD. Who knows how it really is? After all, I had experiences under the influence of chemicals in which I had created whole environments. Avril, please lower down the volume little. But neither of these categories applied to the situation, and as my mind went faster, I felt like a computer that has been fed an insoluble problem. The bell rings, and the red light goes on, and the machine stops. My mind just gave up.
Granny pulled out two yellow letters.
It burned out
But a little later, those life
its
jackets were stolen.
circuitry, its zeal to have an expedition. I needed something to go closer to at the national level, and there wasn't anything. See, um, मैं स्टोरी बुक थोड़ा धीरे भी रीड करती हूँ, क्योंकि अगर हम जल्दी 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 रीड करेंगे तो
Since the view from the top
मेरे साथ क्या होता है ना, अगर मैं जल्दी 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 रीड करूँगी तो आधा मेरे सर के ऊपर से जाएगा. सो मैं स्टोरी बुक, स्पेशली स्टोरी बुक्स जो भी होती हैं, तो मैं उन्हें धीरे धीरे रीड करूँ. तो आप लोग ये मत सोचिएगा कि धीरे धीरे रीड क्यों कर रही है, ताकि मुझे अच्छे से समझ आ जाए, इसलिए मैं धीरे धीरे रीड करती हूँ, दिमाग में बैठाती जाती हूँ स्टोरीज.
flagship group, not stand there like plastic.
At the same moment, I felt this extremely violent pain in my chest and a tremendous wrenching feeling, and I started to cry. I cried and cried and cried and cried, but I was neither happy nor sad. It was a kind of crying I had not experienced before.
Side appeared on the boat that wasn't there.
The only thing I could say about it was it felt as if I had finished something. This journey was over. I had come home. In the words of Dada, we all think we are chasing the Guru, but really, you see, he is chasing us.
Pepper ran up. They'd already sunk.
All I knew about the hardships of India made me sure I didn't want to go there. Yet in October of 1971, I found myself at JFK Airport with two friends waiting to board a plane for Bombay. A large crowd of our New York spiritual group had come to see us off, or as I suspected, to make sure we actually got on plane. We were all three in varying states of panic, wondering what we were doing. Both the panic and the confusion were to intensify 100-fold when we actually arrived in India.
George was called not only by his
We three, like nearly all the group of Western we eventually joined
grown enough to
around Maharaji. First heard. First heard of him through Ram Das. Okay, so this Ram Das.
Peppa's legs merged together and then
Compiled by Ram Das. मैंने स्टार्टिंग में पढ़ा था. ओके, तो ये जो पर्सन है, इसने रामदास के थ्रू ये सब सुना था महाराज जी के बारे में.
bring any presents with them.
Though my life totally changed after the night I first heard Ramdas lecture, I did not feel drawn to go to India. Partially, the mistake of what going to India represented in those days made it seem. Aviral, please, थोड़ा volume कम कर दो. कहाँ गया? Made it seem presumptuous for me to even consider the trip. Nor was it clear to me that the power of awakening I had experienced was, in fact, a connection with Maharaj Ji. That he could possibly be my Guru. We all had heard how difficult it was to find him, and what if he sent me away as he had others. I had heard of Maharaj Ji while wandering in India, and I finally found him in Allahabad. Oh, तो बाबा जी गुरु जी इलाहाबाद में भी थे क्या? अब मुझे पता चला. सी, दिस इज इंटरेस्टिंग. इसलिए मैं धीरे 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 करके बुक पढ़ती हूँ, सो दैट आई कैन स्टोर इट इन माई हेड. नाउ आई गॉट इट. So yes, and I finally found him in Allahabad. My first meeting was in the early morning. Maharaji was in a room on the bed with a Ma, Indian women devotee. Okay, not his mother, women devotee. Sitting before him on the floor. Okay. There was fruit on the bed. Then out from under the big blanket came his hand. He took some big apples and kept bouncing them off the Ma's chest. But she was totally absorbed in meditation. I sat watching, then suddenly Maharaji looked directly at me. He was like a tree, so grounded, so organic. He flipped me a banana and it landed right in my hand. I wondered what I should do with this banana. A sacred object. I figured it would be best to eat. I had come to India from the United States as a devotee in a very intense religious sect. The Guru was the Guru, the final and great savior. After only 2 weeks in his presence, I was daily disillusioned about him and began to wander about India on my own, still hoping to find the one true and pure Guru somewhere. He was around the pure Guru only, but several times in my wanderings, someone would tell me of Maharaji and that he was nearby, but I would not go as I felt no particular pull. Finally, I was down near Bombay, still seeking the true Guru, when an old friend showed up. He looked so clear and light that before we even spoke, I determined to go to wherever it was he had just come from. He had just left Maharaji in Vrindavan. I packed my bags and was gone that afternoon. 24 hours later, I was before Maharaji. There were a number of Westerns there. Maharaji did not speak to me, but he kept looking very intently at my heart chakra. Heart chakra means psychic energy center in the heat area of the body. In the heart area of the body, sorry. Heart area of the body. So, yeah. And what I kept hearing as a voice within him was that my search was over. I had come home. So, जो वो ढूंढ रहे थे एक सच्चा गुरु. So, after meeting him, he just realized that yes, my search is over now. I was sitting for several months in Buddhist meditation in Bodh Gaya. About two-thirds of the way through the second month, this funny-looking little man started to appear in the upper right-hand corner of my awareness. Even so often he would smile, I wondered who he was and just watched him come and go. Later, I began to suspect that it was Maharaji, whom I would heard about the years before.
Actually, earlier we were shown how Susie Sheep put the dinosaur in a basket, and now it's gone. There's a picture next to the window. There was a plane picture. Not bad. You might think the animator simply swapped the plane picture.
At the end of the retreat, I opened a copy of the 100,000 Songs of Milarpa and a picture of Maharaji fell out. When we finally got to Vrindavan, यहाँ पे वृंदावन नहीं वृंदावन लिखा हुआ है as you all can see. Vrindavan. Karthik D2861. Hi dear. Hi Karthik.
For some reason, it's left.
Hi, how are you?
This is especially visible if you increase
उस टाइम पे वृंदावन बोलते होंगे. हाँ, Vrindavan, where he was supposed to be. We found the gates of the temple locked, feeling very sad that I had come all this way only to find the gates locked. I went across the street and sat on the culvert. All of a sudden, I felt as if Maharaji had come leaping over the wall, for I was completely surrounded and filled with the greatest love I have had ever experienced. I burst into tears. People passing by saw this crazy long haired Western sobbing his guts out. They just looked at me and smiled and continued on. Karthik smiley. छोटू हो या कोई और है, पता चला मैं बोल दूँ इस नाम के और भी लोग आए थे तो बोलेंगे तो तुम्हें तो यही दिख रहा है खुद. So actually I'm reading this storybook and I'm reading it little slow so that it goes into my head and I just get the story permanent stored here. So वैसे भी स्टोरी बुक धीरे ही पढ़नी चाहिए.
And by the way, I noticed a certain pattern. Technical things are written in normal Latin letters, like the text.
कहाँ तक पढ़ा था मैंने?
At the same time,
हाँ, I didn't know what was going on, but I had the clear sense of being home. There was absolutely no question that I was exactly where I wanted to be. A month before, I couldn't have imagined such an experience, but here I was, so relieved, so happy. My heart seemed to have burst open. Shortly afterward, we were allowed into the temple. Maharajji asked me all the usual questions, like who I was and where I was from, and what I did. And then suddenly, I found myself bowing with my hands at his feet and feeling totally right about it. Why not? And he was patting on my head, saying something like, "Welcome, glad to see that you made it. Welcome aboard." All I wanted to do was to hang onto his
जिनमें
feet.
एलियंस के प्लैनेट्स की
And I
लोकेशन
didn't.
से
Abidal,
लेकर
please.
उनका डीएनए और पॉपुलेशन तक के बारे में बताया गया है. ये सारे
All I
messages
wanted
उस
to do
सवाल का
was to
जवाब
hang
देने
on
का
his
इंसान
feet
ने
and
बनवाया
didn't
है.
care at all that this wasn't in any way consistent with my self image. See, this is the power of someone with pure heart, pure soul, and this just happens naturally. हमें कोई चीज़ अंदर से लानी नहीं पड़ती. See, this man, पहले दिस मैन थॉट दैट मैं क्यों मतलब लोग ऐसे दंडवत प्रणाम कर रहे हैं एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट, बट देन उस इंसान को खुद अंदर से आया एंड चरणों में सर रखा और फिर ही थॉट दैट कि मुझे यहीं रहना चाहिए. I should hang here. So this is the power. My wife had met Maharaji and had come to get me in America and bring me back to meet. Aviral, please lower down the volume. You can just play Uno na. My wife had met Maharaji and had come to get me in America and bring me back to meet him. When we first went to Maharaji, I was put off by what I saw. All these crazy westerns wearing white clothes and hanging around this fat old man in a blanket. More than anything else, I hated seeing westerns touch his feet. Huh. मेरे साइड टेबल में देखो. हाँ मेरे साइड टेबल में है बेटा. लाइट ऑन कर लीजिए ना. On my first day there he totally ignored me, but after the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh day, during which he also ignored me, I began to grow very upset. I felt no love for him. In fact, I felt nothing. I decided that my wife had been captured by some crazy cult. By the end of the week, I was made ready to leave. We were staying at the hotel up in Nainital, and on the 8th day, I told my wife that I wasn't feeling well. I spent the day walking around the lake, thinking that if my wife was so involved in something that was clearly not for me, it must mean that our marriage was at an end. I looked at the flowers, the mountains, and the reflections in the lake. Of course, Nainital में बहुत ही beautiful lake है. But nothing could dispel my depression. And then I did something that I had really never done in my adult life. I prayed. So he never prayed in his adult life. Oh my goodness, that's strange. But yeah, I asked God, what am I doing here? Who is this man? These people are all crazy. I don't belong here. Just then, I remember the phrase, had ye, but faith ye would not need miracles. ये क्या है? Okay, God, I don't have any faith. Send me a miracle. I kept looking for a rainbow, but nothing happened. So I decided to leave the next day. The next morning, we took a taxi down to Kachi to the temple to say goodbye. Although I didn't like Maharajji, I thought I would just be very honest and have it out with him. We got to Kanchi before anyone else was there, and we sat in front of his take wooden bed on the porch. Maharajji had not yet come out from inside his room. There was some fruit on the take, and one of the apples had fallen on the ground. So I bent over to pick it up. Just then Maharajji came out of his room and stepped on my hand, pinning me to the ground. So there I was on my knees touching his foot. In that position, I detested how ridiculous. He looked down at me and asked, where were you yesterday? Then he asked, were you at the lake? He said lake in English. When he said the word lake to me, I began to get the strange feeling at the base of my spine, and my whole body tingled. It felt very strange. He asked me, what were you doing at the lake? I began to feel very tight. Then he asked, were you horseback riding? No. Were you boating? No. Did you go swimming? No. Then he leaned over and spoke quietly. Were you talking to God? Did you ask for something? When he did that, I felt apart and started to cry like a baby. He pulled me over and started pulling my beard and repeating, did you ask for something? That really felt like my initiation, but then others had arrived and they were around me, kissing me, and I realized then that almost everybody there had gone through some experience like that. Okay. Trivial questions such as, were you at the lake yesterday? Which had no meaning to anyone else, shattered my perception of reality. Why? It was clear to me that Maharajji saw right through all the illusions. He knew everything. By the way, the next thing he said to me was, will you write a book? That was my welcome. After that, I just wanted to rub his feet. It was in London. I was on a bus with many empty seats. Then an old man carrying a blanket got on the bus and chose to sit on the window seat beside me. So then I had to stand up to let him in. This annoyed me somewhat, but as he sat down, he gave me such a sweet, gentle smile that I forgot my annoyance and sat thinking of myself. What a sweet old man. Before the bus came to the next stop on its route, I turned to look at him again, but he was gone. The bus had not stopped again since he has gotten on. He could be.
मैं चलूं?
How could
Uno?
he have gotten on without my standing to let him pass? Later, I went to India on the advice of a friend who had been there, and I saw a picture of Maharaji. It was the same man. I located Maharaji and saw a picture of Maharaji. It was the same man. Found out that on the day I had seen him on the bus in London carrying a specific plaid blanket, a woman in India had given Maharaji just such a blanket, which he was wearing that same day. The Indians also come to Maharaji with varying degrees of desire and readiness. But of them it was different. They had grown up in a culture in which holy beings abounded. And the parents of most of them had gurus. For the family, the guru was a combination of grandfather, worldly and spiritual guide, the reflection of manifestation of God. They often treated Maharaji more as a man and less as a god. And yet at the same time, they could surrender more easily to him. For them, surrender was not a personal matter of ego, as it was for us. In the group of stories about initial meetings, described by some of the Maharaji's closest Indian devotees, both the differences of culture and the similarity of opening and love are apparent. I had known Maharaji since I came into this world. My father and mother were both devotees, sorry. My father since 1940. Amazing. And my mother since 1947. Because our parents were devotees and because he was always being discussed in our family, we all were born devotees of him. I first met Maharaji in Bhuwari many years ago. Maharaji frequently visited a certain Ma's home there. I told her that I had heard about him, but I had never met him. I asked her to tell me the next time he came. After a week or so, Maharaji came at night. In the morning, a message came for me, and I went at once. I found him lying on a cot. He looked at me, then closed his eyes for a moment. He knew at once who I was, who I had been before, and what I was going to do in the world. In a few seconds, he said, "I'm very pleased to see you," which he repeated many times. Maharaji had walked from Nainital to Bhuwali during the night. He said, "You have brought me here. I shall see you again in Haldwani." Then Maharaji boarded a bus for Almora. In those days, he traveled mostly by bus, not by car. People want me not to take him seriously. Neem Karoli is a big liar. Who are those peoples? He very seldom tells the truth. You can't depend on him. In any case, I went to Haldwani. After a few days, someone came to my room and told me that Maharaji had come to Haldwani and gave me his address. I saw him then and have been with him ever since. I first met Maharaji in 1950 when I rode with my boss and Maharaji from Nainital to Haldwani. My boss, a government minister, was already a devotee of Maharaji and had offered him this lift. but I was smoking and acting as if Maharaji was just another person. In 1958, after the death of my mother, I was in Bhawali with my father on vacation. Spent a night in the government rest house. There, and my father became ill in the night, in much pain. They called the Bhawali doctor, who gave him an injection, but to no avail. The next day, doctors from Nainital came, and I said that he needed an emergency gallbladder operation. The same day, I went to consult doctors at the nearby TB sanatorium. Presentations were then underway for a puja to celebrate the opening of a small Hanuman temple built by the doctor there, who was a devotee of Maharajji. I stayed on to watch. Maharajji arrived but stayed hidden. I grew curious to meet him. I heard that Maharajji had put someone in a trance. I watched a while from a distance before leaving. That evening, a messenger from the Nainital bus station came to me and told me to visit a certain Baba named Karoli. Since there are so many Babas, I dismissed the message. But at night, I went to the bus station and inquired as to who had sent this message, but no one knew. This aroused my curiosity even more. I asked where I could find this Baba named Karoli, and when there, Maharajji said to me, "Your name is so and so, and your father is very ill." Yes. You thought he might die, but God has cured. Doctors have told you that he should be operated on, but he shouldn't be. He'll be alright. That's the power. He'll be alright. Maharaji gave me 2 or 3 mangoes for my father, which I fed to him, and he began to improve. After a few days, Maharaji again called me. I went, but I didn't touch his feet. I was planning to return to Delhi, and Maharaji said, "You are going to Delhi? You drive too fast. Take your father carefully, and he'll be alright." This touched my heart, and I touched Maharaji's feet. My father never had the operation and became very healthy with no relapse. So, yeah, I read 12 pages. यहाँ तक मैंने पढ़ लिया है. I'll be reading from here अपने next live session में. So, don't get bored, guys. Story है, धीरे धीरे पढ़ती हूँ, है ना. आप लोग को भी समझ आएगा फिर. फ्लुएंटली नहीं चाहिए. इट्स जस्ट, अगर आप फ्लुएंटली पढ़ रहे हो तो इट्स जस्ट अ रीडिंग समथिंग, मतलब रीडिंग पर्पज से. स्टोरी तो कोई भी तेज नहीं पढ़ता है जल्दी. मुझे जल्द से जल्द जाना है कैंची धाम, गोलू महाराज टेम्पल. There are some places I want to revisit, and बहुत अच्छा लगा था वहाँ. काश मैं जा पाऊँ और बस यही इच्छा है, दर्शन हो जाए. और बैठे बैठे ना ऐसा ऐसा गलती हो गई. गलती क्या एक्चुअली, लाइट कम है ना. अभी आपको इसमें दिख रहा होगा, बट लाइट बहुत कम है. जल्दी तो ठीक है, अदरवाइज अगर मैं ऐसे रीडिंग करती हूँ ज़्यादा सही रहता. ऐसे रीड कर रही थी धीरे धीरे धीरे. लाइक 1 है, ऑडियंस इज 0. ऐसे क्या हो गया, मेरी ऑडियंस क्यों गिरती जा रही है. So I'm done for today's session. I'll be reading the book in my next live. अब नेक्स्ट टाइम ना बहुत अच्छे से कंफर्टेबल होकर रीडिंग करूँगी एंड थोड़ी लाइट्स रखूँगी सो दैट आई कैन सी प्रॉपर्ली, बट आई विल बी रीडिंग इट स्लोली बिकॉज मैं खुद इसको पहली बार पढ़ने बैठी हूँ तो मुझे ये जानना है. सो मैं इसको धीरे ही पढ़ूँगी. Yes, guys,
And
I
I
think
am looking
I should end my life. There's what the hell? It's महाराज जी प्लीज मेरी ऑडियंस बढ़ा दो, अच्छी अच्छी ऑडियंस ला दो. अच्छी इन द सेंस कुछ चिल कमेंट्स करने वाले भी आ जाते हैं ना. सो आई एम प्रेइंग महाराज जी गुरु जी प्लीज मेरे कुछ तो उद्धार करो.
बेटा रेड रेड है
Lloyd, hi. Hi. You are from India?
Mommy.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so where are you from? You have awesome hair. Can you open, please? Up, like, where did you see my hair? Did you? Yeah. Just I'm having. I'll show it to you. It's this much. अभी तो थोड़ा messy हो रखे because I have to wash my hair. So it's just. अभी ऐसे ही oil वगैरह लगा रखा है, so I have tied it because I'm going to sleep after this. मैंने story तो पढ़ी नहीं. And thank you. I'm hair fetish guy.
चलो
Okay.
पास हो गए.
पास आपकी भी बात होगी ना पास
पास.
Your username is long hair diva. Yeah, my username is long hair diva, but you said you have awesome hair. Like you have awesome hair. I thought you must have seen my shorts or something like that. That's why you're saying this. But I am from Pune. Okay, so this Lois, is this your username? So your real name is something else. If you are from Pune, so are you Indian or from other place? I have been to Pune for 7 long years. Pune is my love. I just love. You're Indian. Okay, so you're Maharashtrian. You live there or you're living with some job purpose or something like that?
रुको.
It's a nice place to be, by the way. I have been there for 7 years. It's an amazing place. Amazing.
मैं अब चल दिया
Oh, नहीं जा रही है.
आप भी उठाओ तो मैं भी उठाऊंगी. मैं भी उठाऊंगा, आप भी उठाओ. कैसा लगा पापा? हाँ? कैसा लगा मुझे तो कि तुम्हारा को चल चुका हूँ मैं. बहुत कुछ चल चुका हूँ.
Really,
एक और
really
क्यों
sleepy
उठा रहे
now.
हो?
I should be going.
पास करने पास
आपने इधर से उठाया है.
Can we make hair play video together? I love making hair play content. Like how? Together means like how? I don't live in Pune. Or if there is some other way, so I don't know about it. I'm so sorry. I'm so digital. थोड़ा कम नॉलेज है मुझे इस बारे में.
रुको. उठा क्यों रहा हूँ मैं? OMG.
In case you visit, can we make? So अभी तो मैं नहीं
Uno.
so, do you have a salon or something?
बस खत्म. चटा 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 पटा. Yeah, yeah, say it.
Guys, I should be ending my live here. It's too late. What's the time?
लास्ट ईयर में आपके गलत कामों की पनिशमेंट है
गलत कामों की अपने से
Karthik
क्यों
D,
कर
looking nice.
हाँ?
Thank you so much.
तो हमें भी निकालेंगे तो निकालेंगे
I hardly find long hair women.
चलो
Like पुणे में इतने सारे लोग हैं.
बदला
Do you own a salon or something? Like you're saying that long hair videos and all of that stuff. So, but हाँ यार वहाँ पे तो इतनी population है तो long hair वाले भी आ ही जाते होंगे. Can we collaborate? अभी तो see मतलब no offense but I don't know you so I'm so sorry for that. I don't know how to do it or something. I live in Uttar Pradesh, Kanpur. No, I'm content creator. Okay, got it. I thought you own a salon or something.
वन डालते हैं
So अब पुणे में तो बहुत सारे लॉन्ग हेयर मिल जाएंगे. Just search and find them out. So that will be convenient for you too. Yeah.
आप जीत गए बस
So like you're a content creator. What kind of videos do you make? Can you make hairpay video and send it to me? Paid. I don't do paid stuff अभी because
आओ चलो फिर से खेलें
अब
नहीं.
आपके पास
So sorry.
ये हाथ बात हो रही मम्मी
Yes.
पापा हाँ ये दोनों कार्ड्स ये बहुत चीटिंग है ये बहुत गंदी चीटिंग है
I make ASMR hair combing, brushing, cracking, oiling videos. Okay. Do you have Telegram? I don't use Telegram and all.
लाडू
Okay, that's nice.
इससे मैं कर रहा हूँ आपकी वजह से मैं सेट करने जा रहा हूँ मैं सेट
I would like to go through your content once.
करने जा रहा तो करना ना आपके
ऊपर रखो बात
ये नीचे
चलो हम बात
मैं तो टाइम चेक करना तो what's the time? It's 12:21. My God, I should be ending my life. It's more than an hour. It's 1 hour 4 minutes 36 seconds.
ये चल गया
For this long, I have been like, actually, I was reading this, so it took me. I love reading. वो अलग बात है कि मैं आज 7 सालों बाद रीड करने बैठी थी.
एक दो तीन
वो भी इतनी कम लाइट में आधे वर्ड्स इधर उधर हो रहे थे.
एक नंबर खुल गया तो तुम्हारा वो तख्ता वापस रख
But-
दीजिए
नेक्स्ट टाइम से प्रॉपर लाइटिंग वगैरह के साथ कोशिश करूँगी क्योंकि मैं रात में लाइव आ पाती हूँ तो रात में ज़्यादा लाइट्स नहीं ऑन कर सकती हूँ. सो
है ना
अरे सॉरी
मेरे साथ खोलो आप आउट हो गया
And I'm super tired today. Actually, I'm literally super tired. आपको कल व्लॉग में भी दिखेगा, मतलब सुपर टायर्ड, मतलब कैसे कि मतलब मैंने ऐसा कुछ काम नहीं किया है, बट इट्स दैट कि मैं व्लॉग बना रही थी तो मेरा शाम से रात तक आज बाहर ही गया है। एंड गर्मी बहुत है भाई, यूपी में बहुत गर्मी है, गर्मी की वजह से टायर्डनेस हो गई है। एंड खड़े 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 इट्स ऑलरेडी 12:22, तो वैसे भी सोने का टाइम हो ही रहा है।
चल नहीं।
तीन है, थ्री।
सो गाइस, अब मैं अपना लाइव यहीं पर बंद करती हूँ, ख़त्म करती हूँ। मिलते हैं परसों अपने नए लाइव में। एंड डू वॉच माई व्लॉग टुमारो, जिसके लिए आज मैं पूरी गर्मी में खड़ी रही। वो व्लॉग, मतलब व्लॉग इज़ व्लॉग सी, बट इट टेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ एफर्ट। एंड इस गर्मी में खड़े रहना, शूट करते रहना, जो भले ही जो भी है, मेरे को जैसे भी आता है, बट मैं तो उतना ही हार्ड वर्क कर रही हूँ ना। खैर, so just show some love. See you day after tomorrow. And कल मेरा vlog आ रहा है, so do watch. Love you all. Bye. Good night.
मैं
जय हिंद।
अब ये बताऊंगा।